My name is Pastor Kevin Roberts, and this is My Story, the podcast that just interviews people from the church or has been in the church, just to hear their story and be an encouragement to you. Because we know we're in a pandemic and we know that we're going through a difficult situation, and we would love to hear other people that are going through difficult situations as well, so that we can lift them up in prayer, hold them up, and then be encouraged by them as well. So today I'm going to be interviewing James and Yvonne. Welcome, James. Welcome, Yvonne. It is
Hello.
so good to
Thank
see
you.
you guys. And
Hello.
so, yes, and the thing is, you guys were part of our church from the beginning, from my beginning. And then James, you were part of the worship team, correct?
Correct.
And you played the guitar,
Mhm.
which I think you played very good. And Yvonne was part of our, I don't remember, Yvonne, was it children's department?
I mainly was focusing on the women's ministry there.
Okay.
I was just connecting.
Okay.
And I just wanted to be an encouragement to other women. So I wasn't really officially anything.
Okay.
Woman of God trying to
Okay.
make friends and encourage people.
But here's the issue. You guys came to Marina Church every Sunday, but you lived in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where you just go, okay, look, we're done. We're tired of this drive. You know, the Marina's great, but it's just not going to work. And so, yeah. So what you did. So the thing is, I went to you guys' wedding, and this was back. What year were you married?
1999.
Okay, 1999. That was before I was married. So Jennifer and I were there as boyfriend and girlfriend, and
you weren't yet. When we were there, you guys weren't. You weren't an item yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were before all that. So we saw that. We saw that happen.
Oh, wow! And you didn't try to stop it, did you? You go, oh my goodness, we gotta save Jennifer. No, Jennifer, we can't save her. And so this is what I think it's fascinating, because James was never married before, correct?
Correct.
And so how old were you when you guys got married?
I was 41 and Yvonne was 29.
Okay. Ooh. There's a cradle robber right there, dude. But then again, I'm a cradle robber. How many? I can't figure out how many years that is. Look, it's 12 years.
11.
Yeah. Okay. So who? I can't talk. I got you beat. I got 12 years. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so who am I to talk about? But so Yvonne, you had 3 children. I think it was Destiny, Ray, and Bobby, correct?
Yes.
How'd you guys meet?
At church. My parents were going to Free Methodist Church in Chino.
Okay.
And I was working usually, so when I didn't go to church, they would take my kids to church with them.
Okay.
So James actually met my kids before he met me.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew her Yvonne's mom and dad. I knew Destiny, Ray, and Bobby at church.
Mm-hmm.
And I befriended those 3 little charming kids, and I didn't realize it, but I fell in love with them.
Oh,
they were
really?
just so precious, so adorable.
Uh-huh.
I was looking forward to seeing them.
And the thing is, even to this day, they are adorable. I mean, they're in their late 20s and stuff like this, but they are just adorable.
Can you believe they're in their 30s?
Oh, in their 30s. Oh, good grief.
Well, 31, 30, and
Man, I'm getting so old. That is crazy. So do you remember when you proposed to Yvonne?
Oh, of course, yeah. It was at that the same place where we got married at the Capistrano Retreat Center.
Okay.
in San Juan Capistrano.
And then eventually, were you surprised when he proposed to you?
Yeah, it was beautiful too. It was over a lake inside a gazebo.
Oh, really?
It was a good memory.
Yeah, she was at a women's retreat, and I had called her sister. Her sister was there too, and I told her what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
I had her sister bring her out to the gazebo, which overlooks a little, it's like a big pond,
Okay.
with ducks and weeping willow trees, and it's gorgeous, groomed area. And then I just kind of stuck up on her, and she
And
was really
just
happy.
did you get down on your knee?
Yeah, I got down on one knee, pulled out. I got a heart-shaped diamond
Uh
ring.
Which I lost that heart at Marina Christian Fellowship.
huh.
So I haven't worn it since.
Oh, really? That's funny. And so now, when you guys got married, obviously, when Jennifer and I got married, it was like, oh, this is going to be wonderful. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be great. It's going to be this direction. And then I think you get to the point you're going, oh my goodness, life is a struggle for us. And so you kind of were a blended family. You didn't have any children, James, but you had these three wonderful children. And so what made you decide
And
to have more? Pardon?
three wonderful children, and not to mention, I was closely connected to my two older siblings, Desi and Dominic.
Okay.
So, without everybody knowing, I kind of secretly had two other kids that we would pick up on Sundays and take them to Marina Christian Fellowship.
Okay. Wow. So, and in fact, they're between your three children, they kind of had, and Dominic and what's the other one's name?
Desi, and they're
Desi.
all very close.
So they're kind of a family in a sense that they have one particular parent, a
Yes.
father, right? Okay. Or a lack of a father, or or something like that. And
Something
so,
like that, yeah.
so not only James, you had three, but you had five now, right?
Yeah. I just accepted them too. You tell me a story about how you were explaining how you were saying they were kind of part of the.
But I had to explain to James, I go, even though I'm no longer with her dad, I love these kids.
Uh-huh.
And they're also a part of my life.
Right. So what made you decide, you know what? Instead of us having three children and two on our own, let's have more. And so what made you decide, okay, we're gonna have more children here?
Well, this was actually a conversation that we had prior to proposal.
Okay.
We had deep discussions.
Uh-huh.
And I was done with kids,
Right.
I had enough.
Right.
But I love James, and I was more than happy to have a child with him.
Okay. A child.
And
No,
then he convinced me to have two.
but looking here, you had three.
Yes. I have three more. Yes.
So can you guys see the picture okay?
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you explain to me what the picture is and who's who?
Okay. So that's, of course, me a couple years ago at my yes.
Yes.
And to my right there,
Okay.
our left, as we look at the picture, that is my oldest son.
That says "Come to the dark side."
Right?
Right.
and then the girl to the other side of me is
Uh-huh.
that's my firstborn.
Okay.
Behind her, that's Desi.
Okay.
And behind
And then-
Desi, the big tall one right behind me,
Yeah.
that's our firstborn, James.
Is he taller than you, James?
No.
Okay.
No.
He is tall.
Yeah, he's tall. He's just a hair shorter than me now.
Okay. And then the
And Caleb is between Ray. Well, his name is Rudy.
okay.
His name is
Rudy.
Rudy Raymond, but Mom calls him Ray.
Okay.
Anyway, so between Ray and James is our born Caleb.
Okay.
And then come to the dark side over there, that's Joshua.
Okay, Joshua. So Ray's on your right in the picture, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Ray and Bobby totally forgot about this. So
He said we didn't tell him.
so anyway, but I've noticed your kids are very good looking. And it's
Okay.
interesting because Destiny, I swear she looks like she's 15 years old. And I did her wedding 4 or 5 years ago, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
And
It was
then,
more than 4 or 5 years ago. She has a almost 5-year-old now.
oh, good grief.
So it was probably more like 7 years ago.
7 or 8.
7
7
years ago?
8 years.
Wow. So, and I swear she still looks like she's 15,
Yeah, she does.
you know? And so, but anyway, it was good to see you guys. In fact, we saw you guys at the school play with one of your children there and saw the whole group, even the other two of your kids. And it was good. It was good seeing them all together. And so,
Mom was
yeah.
there.
So let's go into James's sickness, and so you guys are kind of surviving financially, kind of making it and stuff like that, and just raising the children. When did you realize that James was getting sick?
Okay, he was getting sick months before we actually took him to the emergency room. It was November?
Mhm.
November of last year?
Yes,
Okay.
November of last year. We were at church and he was having problems breathing and he literally could not sing during worship.
Okay.
So when he was getting weak, and so I took him to the emergency room. He had been sick prior to that, but we didn't look a whole lot into it.
Okay, and you didn't think nothing of it. You thought, okay, they're going to give him a pill or do something or tell him this is what is going on. And James, were you feeling the same way too? Like, hey, this is just something I need to deal with.
No, I knew something was wrong, but the ER doctor seemed to like this. He kind of
He thought it was psychological.
Yeah, he thought it was a stress.
And I was really upset. And I said, there is something wrong with my husband.
Right.
I was upset.
Yeah. So and the doctor, ER doctor, probably said, and that's psychological problems for you too. But you were persistent.
Yes. I don't know how, was it a day later or I took him to another hospital.
Okay.
Another emergency room.
I had appointment the following Thursday.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, the following Thursday, I already had an appointment to meet with my primary care physician, and I went to see him, and he asked me a few questions. He was examining me. I was telling him what was happening with my body. Chest pains, shortness of breath.
Okay.
And then he immediately called up the other hospital, UCI.
Mm-hmm.
And told him I'm going to be sending one of my patients over there. This is what he has. This is the symptoms. Check him out. So he had a different attitude. He just said, "I got to send you over there now."
Okay. Wow. Okay. And so they discovered what?
Well, they did a procedure on him to see if they could fix him.
Okay.
He had 90% blockage, 70% blockage, and 30%.
No, it was
He had 3 blockages.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 blockages to the heart, and so when you heard that, James, were you going, oh crap?
Well, he didn't really know that because he was in surgery.
Oh, okay.
Doctor came out and told me this.
Okay.
And I was thinking, when he went in too, I think James was probably thinking the same thing. Oh, it's probably a blockage and I'll get a stent and we'll be all better.
Right.
That's what we were thinking. But when the surgeon came out, I jumped up, my jolly self, and everything's good. You're all done. Everything went well.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything. And my heart sunk and I sat down in the chair and listened. And out of everything that he said,
Mhm.
because he did talk to me for a little while, the only thing that stuck in my head was there was nothing I could do.
Wow.
So after he left, I tried to be strong and uh, talk to somebody about what's going on. I just lost it. I
Okay.
cried.
Okay. So did you think that James was going to die then? Did you think?
I
Okay.
did. There was nothing they can do. I was like, what? I would tell him, what does that mean? What does that mean? But I thought, well, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, because you would
But I
think.
wanted somebody to tell me
No, you would think
that
that,
mean?
okay, look, you got everything going. We have the greatest medical doctors in the world, and there's basically nothing that he could do. So when did you realize that, James, there was nothing they could do?
When I don't. Did you tell me that?
Yeah,
I
the doctor told him
Okay.
basically
I
they were going to put him on medication.
Okay.
Yeah, they were gonna treat it with medications and different prescription medications, but I didn't believe him. I just didn't agree with him. I thought I needed a second opinion
Okay. And
because I had, huh?
you started losing weight
Yeah,
and started getting weak.
Right. Yes.
And so therefore you couldn't work either, right?
Right.
right. Yeah, I became very physically weak.
Okay. So it's interesting. So when you notice, maybe this was in at the beginning of this year, that you're going, look, I need to get my life. I need to figure this out because I am losing weight. The doctors are saying I can't do anything. And did you get to the point of just depression?
A little bit,
Okay.
but I just felt in my heart of hearts that there was still some hope,
Okay.
and but I was just surviving from day to day because I had a problem with low blood pressure,
Hmm.
and um, just standing up and walking into the kitchen, I couldn't do that. I had to be helped.
Right.
Yeah, I remember even that Christmas morning, everybody was over because I do Christmas breakfast. And James was in bed the whole time, and just as everybody was leaving, I was I go get him out of bed, bring him out here, because I go that. How do you live like that? I'm like
Yeah.
this is living. Get
Right.
him out here,
Right.
And it was a couple of long sad months for me
Right.
to see him
Did
unable
you?
to do
Did,
anything.
yeah. Did you get to the point where you were angry at James, um, come, thinking, "Come on, James, don't give up. Come on, James, get out here. Come on, we have
Hon-
6 children." Okay.
honestly, honestly, yeah, I was. There was times when I was angry. I was like,
Okay.
and then you ask God, what? This isn't living, God. How we're
Yeah.
supposed to live for you? We're not doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I was angry at times.
Well, and the thing is, I think way back in January, when I came to visit you guys, um, that you were venting to God. You were angry and stuff, and I think it's good to be angry at God.
Yeah, because that's really where having that communication with God is where I got a deeper faith.
Right.
Said, okay, the doctor said they can't do anything for him, but I know God can.
Right.
God, well, I guess that's just the way it works, but it was through that total darkness that
Right.
I see light,
Right.
and hope. And I knew my God. I didn't know what he was going to do or
Right.
how it was going to end, or I had no clue. And I
Right.
just this faith that
Right.
be closer to James. I think this brought us a lot closer.
Now
Uh,
that's interesting because you would think that in situations like this that would bring your father away, because it's just the stress of raising uh, 3 children, because the other 3 were on their own, and and him not stepping up. but it did bring you guys closer then.
Yeah, it did.
What made
Because
you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think prior to that, I think on and off, James and I had a lot of challenges in our marriage that,
Right.
we talked about. And this whole thing just really, none of that mattered.
Isn't that interesting when think about this, everything that you're just going, okay, your little pet peeves and stuff. Why does he do this? Why does he do this? Why does he do this? And then all of a sudden you're close to death and you go, it doesn't matter. I just love this guy. I don't, I just, I it's just fascinating to me. What was a priority prior to getting sick? It ain't a priority now. And so that's what I get a kick out of. So okay, now I remember James was telling me, or like I'm talking to you like a third party here, that his big dream was to sing with his kids again. Tell me about that, James.
Well, it just has part of my it's a family tradition and legacy. Our family has been involved in church worship and for like 3 generations. As far starting with my grandma, well, actually 4 generations, because my grandmother's father was a professor of music, and that's my great grandfather, and my great grandmother had a beautiful voice, and they taught music out of their house, And my mother played piano in church. My grandmother played piano. And I have uncles, a Peralta quartet that sang, a barbershop quartet. And just seeing my sons perform, it's just like a part there. This part of the legacy has been passed on to them, and
Right.
we never had a chance to really come together and
worship.
Worship
together.
God,
Right.
and church,
And so the thing is, what's interesting to me, you specifically wrote a song that you haven't sang in the congregation yet.
Not yet. Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, that was the last song.
So tell me about writing the song. What inspired you, and we won't get into the song in itself, but what inspired you to write this?
I was at church, and that's where I usually get a lot of my inspirations, because when the pastor's speaking or we're singing, I feel like the Holy Spirit really talks to me, ministers to me.
Okay.
And that's where I get most of my inspiration from.
Right.
And there's a verse, I think it's in Revelation, talking about God is, or Jesus is, he's a Messiah, the Messiah, but it talks about him being heaven's highest. That's the title of the song, Heaven's Highest. And
right.
And from that, those verses in Revelation, I can't think of them right now, was my inspiration, through that sermon that I heard at my church right now.
Okay. And so and the thing is, this is where I made it about me. Because when we were talking in January, I said, would you mind, once you get better, would you sing that particular song with your boys at my church? You remember that?
Yeah.
And you said, absolutely. And I said, let's do it in June. And then the pandemic hit. So we haven't met since March, but I am scheduling you at least the first month when we get together again, when we have a vaccination or this whole pandemic thing is over and the COVID-19 is over, for you and your family to come and sing that song at our church. Yeah. And so I've promised you that way back in January. I was, but where are you now physically? How are you doing physically now? Did they figure this out?
Yeah, well, in May, I would visit, see my cardiologist and my surgeon, and I was just, that saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, right. I was squeaking and squawking and complaining to them that this medication stuff is not working.
Right.
And I still had all the symptoms. They thought I would get better. They said, it's going to be a long, slow process. But I told my surgeon I'm still having pains, chest pains, and nothing's changed, you know.
Right.
So he decided that he was going to go in and attempt to put a stent in, because there was one artery that leads into my heart that was like 90% blocked, and he said that was the most critical one.
Right.
So back in May, he scheduled me to have a stent implanted
Okay.
in that artery, and it was successful, you know. And I just, from one day to the next, I just changed, you know.
Wow.
I wasn't this drugged out zombie in like I was before. And then all of a sudden my sense of humor back, you know. I
Yeah.
just felt alert. I was thinking pretty normal now, you know. So
No,
that
absolutely. That's cool. Hey, James, can you see me okay? Do you see this? This is a heart. Did you get one of these?
no, I'm not as messed up as you are. Sorry.
That's a heart monitor that sends signals to the doctor to see if I have any arrhythmia or
Uh-huh.
stuff. So I feel you. I feel you. You know, and so now this is where I want to get into, and this is the last subject I want to get into. You are, James, an incredible father to these kids, and not only to your kids, but to uh, Yvonne's children as well, which they are your children, and obviously you have love for those children. But I want to talk about Ray for a second, because Ray kind of came out to you guys when he was 18.
Yeah, around that. I don't remember exact year or age or.
Okay. Do you now the thing is, this is interesting because for Christians, and then having people that are gay, you know, are just like, oh shoot. And so when did he come out to you guys? Do you remember him coming out?
You know, gosh, so long ago. I I suspected it before he even really said anything,
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of
I would
expected.
try to get it out of him,
Okay.
but he would deny it, and
Okay.
so it just eventually it just so I can't say he actually really ever
Came out.
came out. It just kind of evolved.
Okay. That he first accepted it and stuff like that. Now, when you realize,
Oh wait, I take that back.
okay,
I do remember. Now we were sitting in the driveway and we were having a conversation,
okay,
Jay and I, and he wanted me to totally embrace it. I remember this,
okay,
and I said, Ray, I love you with all my heart, and there's nothing that's ever gonna change that.
okay,
Um, but it's hard for me. I told him.
okay,
I remember that.
okay. Why was it so? Why was it hard on you?
I think for selfish reasons, it was hard
Okay,
on me. You know, because how can you serve God and serve in the church, and people have this stigma on you, where how can she serve when she has a son that's gay?
yeah, that's how you felt, right?
That's how I felt.
Okay,
Yeah.
how
And
you
so
felt,
I took it. I rather than thinking about how he felt,
right, right.
I selfishly internalized, what is everybody going to say about me? And
Yeah. And you know, and I think that's one point I think a lot of parents have, that they make it about themselves. Like it's just like, oh no, I cannot have a gay son. There's no way in the world. What are people going to say? What are people going to do? What am I going to say? Hey, I have a gay son. And how did you deal with it, James?
Um, I think well, for I knew, I kind of suspected,
Okay.
but I just remembered back to the day that I married Yvonne. I made a promise before, the minister and the congregation, promising to love and cherish and all that, all this the vows that you do in a marriage, and also they brought up my 3 new kids, and
They were part of that.
they're part of
union.
that union.
Right.
My as a husband and a father to these kids, and no matter what, to do with sickness and health, good, rich and poor,
Right.
And so that popped in my head, like the Lord put that in my head, and I thought, yeah, there's just no way. My love for Ray will always be the same, because the Lord feels that way about me, no matter how much I sin or how much I'm disobedient.
Mm-hmm.
And I was selfish reasons too. I wanted Ray to, like most parents, they want, you want him to meet a nice young lady and get married and have babies.
Right.
That's what I was looking forward to. Yes, I got older,
Being a
but
grandfather.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and also, I'm sorry, but also one of the things too that I was looking forward to was him being a worship leader. He loves the Lord and he loves to sing.
Right.
And when that happened, when I found out, I'm like, okay, well, what church is gonna let him sing?
Right. No, that's an excellent point, a great point. So, and this is where it really gets me, because I don't think homosexuality is a choice. I really don't think so. And I love Ray to death too. Ray gave me a call about a little over a month ago, just to touch bases. And but the thing is, being gay is all, and growing up in the church, Ray has struggled with his relationship with the Lord and the relationship with church.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us about it.
I think feeling accepted for
Yeah.
who he is, and I remember there was conversations that Ray and I had that he cried to me, why am I this way?
Right.
Why can't God take it away from me? Oh, I'm gonna cry. But so because I'm close with my kids, and
Right.
I hope they all feel comfortable talking to me.
Right.
But Ray and I did share a lot and developed a good relationship through that.
Yeah.
And also I want to add, you asked a question, how I wasn't concerned what other people thought about it, my family or friends or whatever, and I knew there's going to be a lot of condemnation, but I didn't really care or just too concerned about what they thought, because only thing I was concerned about is that my love for him was going to be consistent. It was going to be, and I was, I turned into a Papa Bear, and I was ready to defend him, and not so much the lifestyle, but just him as a person,
Yeah.
There's another way the church is. The church can be so hypocritical and so condemning,
Right.
And having Ray, the way he is, I've learned just to like accept him and all of his friends. He's all of his gay friends,
Right.
But he has straight friends too, but because he's pretty open about everything, and
Right.
and so I thought it was a great opportunity for Yvonne and I to love
unconditionally.
Yeah, these young men and young women that have alternative lifestyle. That was what a great opportunity. Like a ministry.
Well, and think about this: that how you guys unconditionally love the LGBTQ community, and how they know that you're Christians, but yet you love them as people, as a person, and I think that is Christ at its best.
It is the greatest commandment. They asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? To love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and all your strength. And second, to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
We're called to love. We're not called to hate.
Yeah. Well, that's a mic drop. Boom. That's it. Right? That's a total mic drop if you think about it. And so the thing is, I think you and I talked about this, that Ray has a passion for the Lord,
Yes.
Hmm.
and it is a deep spiritual awareness that he has, but yet he cannot find a church that would. He lives in San Diego, that will accept him for who he is. And I think it's interesting that a lot of churches, they go, "Come as you are,"
Yeah.
but not if you're gay. And so, it's just fascinating to me. You were going to say?
No, I was just saying, for Ray and all my kids, if you met them, you would fall in love with them for the most
Right.
part.
Yeah.
But the struggle for people is when they get to know them, can they still love them?
Ooh, that is a good point. That is a really good point. And I know, like, um, Leo has been an incredible influence on Ray's life as well. And Leo goes to our church, and just yesterday I was talking to Leo because his brother was kind of just on this anti-gay thing, kick on Facebook. And I told Leo, I said, I just want to tell you, I love you and God loves you. And he just broke down.
Mm.
He just broke down. And so it's just the evangelical church needs to figure this out and love the people, love one another, care for one another. And that is vitally important to you. So what is your let's end in this. Out of your whole life, okay, that you are living as a married couple, what is one thing that you can get out that you would give advice to say, look, I'm dealing with somebody that's sick and I don't know what we're going to do, or I'm dealing with a family member that's gay and I'm really struggling with the principles and the balance and stuff like that. So let's go to the first question. What advice would you give somebody that's struggling with someone that's sick within a marriage?
Advice, I don't think I could give.
Okay.
Struggling in a marriage, the only thing I can do is just be an encouragement.
Okay.
Just say, God's got you.
Okay.
And I know it's hard, and the struggle is real, and
Right.
I know the struggle.
Right.
And all I could do is just pray.
Okay. Okay. And on the latter question, if they're discovering that their child is gay, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say you just better make sure you have a portion of the God's unconditional love
Okay.
and His peace and then His joy.
And
Because without those things, it's going to drive me crazy,
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I was going to react, because I've thought about this before, even before Ray, even before I met Yvonne. I didn't know how if I can handle it,
Right.
But I can handle it because of the Lord, He just
Right.
He love, joy, and peace,
Right.
And when your kids see that, like Ray, when he sees me, I still love him the same.
Yeah.
I still, get out on the same. I still, I have his back,
Mhm.
And I'm always gonna, because my thing is just, I get this thing about, just very protective of my kids. I don't like them to make fun of each other.
Right.
But I would just say love, joy, and peace that comes from God.
Right. And I think for us, we need to embrace the grace.
I was gonna say that, Pastor Kevin. That's the whole thing. I think people need to realize and recognize that so much grace has been given to us, that we receive so much grace. It can't be hard.
Right.
It shouldn't be hard to extend that grace and that love. That
No, it should. And the reason it is hard is because we've never experienced it ourselves. And once we experience, because our perspective of God is not really a gracious God. It's a God of a bunch of rules and stuff like this. This is how I grew up. And so when we start embracing the grace, and understanding that we don't deserve anything from God, but man, he just gives it graciously. How can we not give it?
Amen, brother. Yep.
How can we not give it? Well, thank you so much, James and Yvonne. Thank you for being part of this podcast, and I hope it was an encouragement to any one of you watching it. And thank you so much. God bless you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.